If you care about the Constitution, you need to watch this documentary.
He didn't have any problem with black folks living in his parish as long as they were agricultural workers, as long as they were working on farms, as long as they were domestic servants.
A Crime on the Bayou, streaming right now on YouTube, is not just a civil rights story. It is a case story in how fragile justice can be when power is unchecked. In 1966, Gary Duncan was a 19-year-old shrimp trawler in Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana. On his way to pick up his wife and his newborn son from the hospital, he stopped to defuse a brewing altercation outside a newly desegregated high school. He literally touched a white teenager on the arm in what he described as a calming gesture.
He puts his hand on this white man. He didn't punch this man. He didn't engage in the fight. He's attempting to break up the fight. That's illegal.
Hours later, he was arrested. First for cruelty to a juvenile, then for assault and battery. Then he was denied trial by jury. The local political boss, Leander Perez,
You're quoted as having said, quote, yes, the Negro is inherently immoral. Yes, I think it's the brain capacity. Is that a misquotation?
It's not a misquotation, it's the truth. Because I know Negroes. We have a number of Negroes in our communities, and I know that basically, fundamentally, they are immoral. They're unmoral. I know that to be a fact.
Had ruled that parish for decades. The system was not broken. It was working exactly as designed. The word used repeatedly in the film is totalitarian.
The essence of the Southern system in those days was total control. It was a totalitarian nation.
This was a legal structure built to protect white supremacy, not justice. Enter Richard Sobel, a young Jewish attorney from New York who could have left after one summer in the South.
He could have gone home that night, but he chose not to. The guy is of steel about his rights and justice and what's fair.
But at 29, he argued Duncan's case before the United States Supreme Court. The ruling in Duncan v. Louisiana changed American law. It established that the right to a jury trial applies to state prosecutions, not just federal ones. A right most of us take for granted today. It exists because a black teenager in Louisiana refused to accept an unjust conviction. Director Nancy Buirski frames this story through interviews, archival footage, Hurricane Betsy imagery, even excerpts from Louisiana stories. The structure can feel a little uneven at times. Some aesthetic choices distract more than they illuminate, but the film's power lies in his testimony. It asks hard questions about allyship, about the difference between the danger white advocates faced and the danger black citizens faced daily. Angela Davis even appears in the film and reminds us that when it comes to challenging racism, white people have as much at stake as those targeted. That tension sits directly at the heart of this documentary. What stays with you most, though, is Gary Duncan himself, his gentleness, his lingering pain, his quiet dignity. The camera holds on his face longer than anyone else's, as it should.
Perez made Landry file charges on me because they wanted to use me for example for the rest of the blacks.
As if to insist that history is not just abstract. It has a human expression. This is not a slick documentary. It is not designed for easy consumption. It unfolds like a record being assembled piece by piece, but it illuminates something urgent. Oppression is not always loud. Sometimes it is arbitrary. Sometimes it is bureaucratic. Sometimes it is a system that simply decides you crossed the line you did not even know existed. If you want to understand how constitutional rights are tested, threatened, and expanded, go watch A Crime on the Bayou, streaming right now on YouTube. It is more relevant than many of us would like to admit. If we haven't met before, I'm Cara, not Kara, and if true crime and documentaries are your vibe, we should be friends. Go watch A Crime on the Bayou, streaming right now on YouTube. If you can't, save this video so you know what to watch later, and don't forget to drop the words true crime in the comments so I know you stuck with your girl until the end.